I'm going to explain Dot4 versus Dot3 in a BrakeFluid. Of course, there are different also that probably you don't see them all the time, which is there's Dot1, Dot2. I didn't have them in a chart here. Dot3, Dot4, 5, and 5.1. And even now I've seen that they have Dot5 plus and whatever. You could see, you could read it on a bottle, which is usually says it here. And what is it for? Make sure you check on your brake fluid reservoir. Usually it does say what fluid it takes. Make sure you use whatever your car manufacturer recommend to use. So very much the difference between those or all of them is the boiling point. And boiling point has a dry boiling point and wet boiling point. I'm going to explain wet and dry later at the end of the video. But generally speaking, we're going to talk about the 3 and 4 for now. So as far as boiling point, Dot4 has a higher boiling point compared to Dot3. This means it can withstand a higher temperature without boiling, which is crucial for or in high performance or heavy duty braking system. So as you see here, Dot3 boiling point start to boil at 401 Fahrenheit or 205 Celsius, which is Dot4 here. It has 446. They do see here 450. It depends on who makes the fluid, but as you see on the bar, he says 450 boiling point. So as far as the chart, this is what it is: 446 or 230 Celsius. This is when it's dry. Dry means when it's you didn't use it yet. It's still in the bottle. Moisture never got into it or water never got mixed in it. So that's, as you can see here, when water gets inside to a certain level, usually between 3 to 4%, look how the temperature change. So the boiling point at Dot3 drops to 284. Dot4 drops to 311 Fahrenheit. You could do the math on the Celsius, but you can see how the temperature change over time. Like if you have the fluid in over a year in your car, and there is a moisture inside, just keep these in mind, these numbers in mind. Compatibility. Dot4 is compatible with most systems that use Dot3 fluid, but the reverse is not always true. Using Dot4 in a system designed for Dot3 is generally safe. So like you could add 4 to 3, which is fine because this is more safe, but the other way doesn't go right. So if you want to put a 3 in a 4, do not do that, because this has a lower boiling point and is gonna affect your fluid and your braking in the car. So again, using Dot3 in a system designed for Dot4 might not provide adequate performance, especially in high temperature conditions. Just keep this in mind. Okay, Dot4 is Dot4, Dot3 is Dot3. Can you use Dot4 in a 3? Yes. Can you use Dot3 in 4? No. It's not gonna do a good job. As far as dry and wet or moisture, so this means the brake fluid absorbs moisture from the air over time. However, Dot4 fluid tends to absorb moisture at slower rate comparing to Dot3. So this is very important because water in a brake fluid can lower its boiling point, like I just showed you here, and potentially cause corrosion with the brake system. So just keep these in mind when it comes to which fluid to use. And again, as far as the application, I'm gonna say this again, Dot4 fluid is often recommended for vehicles with anti-lock braking system and electronic stability control or ESP. These systems can generate high temperature during operation. It's also commonly used in high performance vehicle. So if you have a lot of system and a lot of different module on the car, they need to react to certain movement of the vehicle, curves, turns, different stopping points, then you're gonna have higher boiling points. So you need Dot4 to compensate for all this temperature increase in the braking while you do the braking, so the fluid temperature goes up, because sometimes the caliper is big, the rotors are big, so those usually produce heat, and you want to be safe so the fluid does not change its formula. So in summary, both Dot3 and Dot4 brake fluid serves the same basics purpose. Dot4 is a higher performance and better suitability for demanding application. It is essential to always use the type brake fluid recommended by the vehicle manufacturer to ensure safe and optimal braking performance. So just keep all these factors in mind. And again, it is the boiling point that makes a big difference. So if you have a newer vehicle, bigger rotors, bigger brake calipers, bigger brake pads, those usually they have higher friction, and they need to have good fluid in them in order for them to operate accordingly. So what is wet boiling point? So this is referred to the boiling point of the brake fluid when it has absorbed some amount of water over time. So it can absorb moisture from surrounding environment, particularly through the rubber seals and hoses in the braking system. So water content increases in the brake fluid, and it can lower the boiling point in the fluid, like I explained here. So the wet boiling point is the temperature at which the brake fluid will start to boil when it contains a certain percentage of water, and it's usually 3 to 4%. So focus on these two, and you're gonna understand when your fluid has some moisture or water in it, between 3 and 4%, what is gonna happen here. So you might feel a spongy brake, you might have smell. It depends. Every car has its own reaction to certain temperature or certain fluid. So the dry boiling point, very much this is the boiling point of a brand new unused brake fluid with no water content in it. So it represents the highest temperature at which the brake fluid will boil under normal operating condition without any water absorption in it. So again, in summary, the wet boiling point indicates the performance of the brake fluid under condition where water was been absorbed, while the dry boiling point indicates the performance when the fresh and free from water contamination. So brake fluids with high boiling points, both wet and dry, are desirable as they provide better safety margin against brake fluid boiling and vapor lock, especially during heavy braking under high temperature. So once you have the fluid poured into the system, I would say these temperatures, usually they are not the boiling point anymore after a few months or whatever. It depends where you live. If it's a lot of rain, a lot of humidity, these numbers, I think, will be more to look at. All right? So if you use Dot4, make sure you use Dot4. If you use Dot3, you could use Dot4, or if you could still use Dot3, you don't have to. But if flushing the fluid once a year, or as the manufacturer recommendation, it will be a good idea, just to keep the system clean and no moisture in it. This is very much for the Dot3 and Dot4 brake fluid. I hope you like, share, subscribe. Just hold the channel so I can post more videos in the future, so you could get more educated on the stuff that you use on a daily basis in your vehicle. Thank you for watching.